Right then, hello everyone and welcome back to the Assetto Corsa Offline Championship. We are here for the 8th and final round of the 2020 Porsche Super Cup season at the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache in Sao Paulo, Brazil. And we're here for the title decider, who will claim the coveted title of second Porsche Super Cup champion. And yes, we are here to settle the race order. Then we're here for 20 minutes of qualifying around the Interlagos circuit. My name is Miran MG in the commentary booth, and joining me for this very, very special occasion, it is Jamie. Good afternoon.
Thank you very much, Miran. Here we are for the final round of the Porsche Super Cup here, and it's going to be the first of many of the championship deciders here. The other one, which is going to be the F1 here, but my word, what a series Porsche Super Cup has brought to us. Quite a rushed introduction to replace Formula 3, but nonetheless has provided some of the most exciting racings that ACOC has had in years, and now it's going to come to this. 5 people are mathematically can determine and win the championship, actually. Calvin Jamar, the current championship leader so far, is the only one out of those 5 that has yet to win a race, actually, even though that he's actually scored 2 consecutive podiums last time round in Bahrain. We shall see if his current luck keeps on form. However, everyone from Henry J. Brown to Gabriel Gomez, Yukashkas and Tidesley can all still clinch the championship, though, but it'll take quite a miracle for any of them to lead quite comfortably as well. So this is all going to be bringing down an excellent race here at the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache.
Yes, indeed, it is going to be a very, very interesting title decider then. And what other track to do it than the fantastic Interlagos circuit, as we're looking at Chao Shinat on his flying lap. Let's go through the track. So the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache, also known as the Interlagos circuit, located in the city of Sao Paulo, named after the neighborhood in which the track resides in, obviously Interlagos meaning between the lakes in Portuguese. The track was opened 82 years ago on the 12th of May 1940, and originally the area which the track was built on was meant to be housing, but due to the 1929 stock market crash, they instead decided to build a racing circuit here, and it was inspired by namely Indianapolis, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and a few historic tracks that obviously don't exist anymore. Tracks like the Roosevelt Raceway in the United States, Brooklands in England, and Montlhéry in France. Obviously Formula 1 would come here back in 1972 for the first time, and became a world championship event in 73, and it would host the Brazilian Grand Prix intermittently all the way up to 2019, when it was renamed the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. But Formula 1 has been a staple at this track. Other notable events at Interlagos include the Mil Milhas Brazil, an endurance racing event which has run here since 1956. You've had Stock Car Brazil, the 6 Hours of Sao Paulo, and many international and national series come here over the years. It is a very, very historical track. And yeah, the atmosphere is always electric at Interlagos. This layout, though, which has been in place since 1999, is 4.3 kilometers long, 15 turns, and we should expect lap times somewhere about the 140s, maybe the more the 130s, I would say. 135.8 is the fastest lap set in a Porsche Carrera Cup car, so expect times about there. But even though I have gone through the track now, I have to say Interlagos really is a track that doesn't actually need any introduction due to how legendary it is, and how exciting racing it has produced in the ACOC in past seasons. Last seasons we had home man Jose Lucas take home the win in front of the Brazilian home crowd. Gabriel Gomes will be wanting to recreate that and become the second Brazilian winner here at Interlagos. But as the times are now coming in on the board then, Jamie, before we get on to qualifying, obviously, what do you make of the track?
Track is very fun, actually. It's as you've said, it's the one with so much prestige, actually, given that the nature of this track, however, and it's the thing that has actually led to the Brazil's resurgence in motorsports, actually, especially in regional motorsports, which has allowed for such probably one of the finest motorsport levels to go up inside South America, actually, and it's led to create such great talent as well. Nonetheless, actually, is one that's going to be on track here, especially in the terms of Gabriel Gomes, who, as you said, he's got the whole crowd behind him, actually, to go ahead and become the second race winner from Brazil, actually. But Henry Tree Brown also will probably have some a bit of the crowd support as well, as he's going to become the second Portuguese-speaking driver, actually, to also win here in a Brazilian round as well. But also quite interesting to note for Jake Tensley, he might be wanting to replicate his compatriot success in Ollie Bogues, who's won the Porsche Super Cup here, but he's got quite a long way to go, and Zukauskis as well, who's currently now one of the better of the rest, I believe, at the moment, in terms of his positioning to take the championship as well. He's got quite a lot to play for as well. So all five of them, I must say, very capable of clinching the championship here. And Interlagos is the ultimate testing ground to see who will be the one that will end up as the strongest, as you can see all the times coming in here. And I must say, a very interesting field at the moment.
Yes, indeed. The big question here is then if the championship contenders will be able to get themselves up into the top 10, or at least the top 5, I have to say, or maybe not at least, but at most. Jakubas Zukauskis surely can, as he gets up into 3rd, and he becomes the highest placing championship contender. He is P3 then, and then looking at the other contenders, you have got Khalfan Juma in 10th, then you have Brown in 13th, Gomez in 14th, and then it's Tildesley in P15. So lots of the championship contenders outside of the top 10. This will make it quite interesting. Zukauskis is 3rd and in the podium, but he needs to outscore Juma by 24 points today. So if he wants a chance at winning the title here today, he's going to have to get his 2nd win in a row here at Interlagos.
Yeah, well, the position that's currently is at, it's actually a bit doable, as we've seen with the previous race, actually, with Patel starting in 4th and managing to claw his way up into the lead and get the fastest lap too. What an amazing super Formula decided that was. Hopefully, maybe we could see something of similar nature as Zukauskis. Well, maybe and he does have the chance, actually, of taking away the championship lead away from his former Super Formula teammate in the form of Juma, as Erke Nit improves and he gets himself up into 2nd to displace Gonzalez. But Gabriel Gomez, meanwhile, he's going to exit out of turn 15. He's got quite a lot to gain if he really wants to clinch the championship for himself as well, as he crosses the line with no improvement.
Yeah, right now it isn't looking good for Gabriel Gomez, the Brazilian man who's got the support of the home crowd here. I find one fact interesting. I talked about Jose Lucas, who won here last season. He was driving for Lechner Racing Middle East. In fact, he was driving the exact same car Khalfan Juma was driving, and if that is anything to go by, then I think the Emirati driver could be in for quite the ride. I would say so myself. But yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting to see what is going to happen then, as we have 10 minutes left here in qualifying.
Yeah, we currently are. We're seeing with Alexander Arnold, who has definitely improved his qualifying paces a bit to one for that of his F1 pedigree at the moment, but I believe he might be heading into the... No, he's actually going to stay out. Is there going to be any more improvements maybe for the German driver potentially, as he's going to go across the line at the exit of the corner, and it is a small improvement for him as he gets himself up into 8th. But currently at the minute for the championship contenders, only Khalfan Juma is in the pits, and Chao Chinat meanwhile gets himself up into 5th for Dynamic Motorsport.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of improvements. Surprisingly, not from the championship contenders, though. But we'll just have to wait and see if they're able to post any competitive times later into the session. Here's Jake Tildesley then heading through the left-hander of turn number 12 now or turn 11. This is turn 12, then Jun Sao, as it is called, as he now heads down into turns 13 and 14 as he's gonna come across the line to finish his lap, I do suppose. As he will now go across the line then from P16, will be able to lift himself up a few positions with this lap time as he goes across the line, and he does so. Up into 13th goes Tildesley, not into the points yet, but he does get himself out of championship rivals Brown and Gomez.
Good there from the British driver indeed, and it's kind of a bit worried a bit there for Brown and Gomez as it stands at the minute. They're currently 15th and 16th at the moment. Brown himself is going into the pits, but he's going to probably go out for another run. But meanwhile, riding on board with the BMW Lichner Racing driver of Gomez, as he navigates around through the tricky second sector, which is pretty much where all these times are pretty much gained and lost here. It's all about your cornering technique here and how much time you can gain from this sector as well. And the fact that it's a bit hilly as well means that you can also be prone to some mistakes as well. And now you're seeing here is one of the very few and probably the most exciting corner overtaking opportunities here that the circuit has to offer. And I'm sure that there has some coveted history around here at ACOC times as well. Gomez, meanwhile, is going to go out for the home straight now. Hopefully it'll be a better improvement maybe for the Brazilian, and he really needs it as well.
Yes, he's going to go across the line. Then what can Gomez do? It's 15th and only gets himself ahead of Henry J. Brown. It is an improvement, a rather minute one, but that could be a sign of things to come for the Brazilian, as Jorge Gomez has got himself up to 9th. We really aren't seeing any major improvements from the championship contenders today.
No, we currently aren't at the minute. I think I'm not quite sure how it's going on at the minute. Maybe it might be the problem of traffic. Ooh. Oh, there we go. There's Jake Townsley getting himself up into 2nd. And that's really, really good for the British driver. It's exactly what he needs.
Yeah, that's a very, very good lap from Jake Tildesley. He misses out by 2/1000ths of a second, though, on Jaime Nguyen for pole position. As he's going to have to try again, try and get that just a little bit more time to be able to stick it onto provisional pole. We're currently looking at Ryan Adam. The Italian's going to go across the line, and there's no improvement for Adam. Neither is for Zukauskas behind. So the two dynamic motorsport teammates are not able to improve. As give me a moment, I'll have to take over for Jamie.
No worries, as there's Chauchinat though for the Marinette. He improves once again to get himself up into 4th. He's really improved his qualifying pace ever since the second half of the season, though, as Henry J. Brown is now going to go for his flying lap now. He really needs to really put the metal down at the minute, but as he and Gomez, the ones that are actually closest to Kelvin Jamar at the minute, have not actually managed to convert their positions into points, though, as there's Yutahiro Gomez, the former Super Formula leader, gets himself up into 6th, and that's a really good improvement there for the Japanese driver as well, as he continues his good reign of form into the second half of the season for himself as well. It's going to be very interesting to see if he can make any more progress further than that. We'll try and see if the Gabriel Gomez, meanwhile, is getting himself there. Jake Tensley, meanwhile, he gets himself into provisional pole, and it's exactly what he needs. He's in the prime position now to earn those 25 points and, more importantly, get the championship lead. And right now it's between Tinsley and Sukashkas at the minute, who are the only ones that are in the points now. Can Henry J. Brown make anything of it? He does improve, but it's only 16th for the Portuguese driver. So both Portuguese-speaking championship contenders not doing very well here in Interlagos, I must say, all the way down to 15th and 16th. No improvements from any of them, or very minimal from them, in fact. But currently for Tinsley, at least, he is going to be the one in the prime position to take the lead. And for him, meanwhile, he really does need to lead, as he's all the way down to 5th. but it's quite possible there. Ciao Jeanette doesn't prove, but he's still remains in 4th, as there's Matis Material, the Polish driver, gets himself up into 11th. He's just a few hundredths off from breaking into the top 10 for himself. For Yuta Horigome, meanwhile, and I think ahead of him, let's see, Nick Tander, I believe. Both of them will eventually cross the line. Is it going to be any improvements for any of them? It's not quite for Horigome. He still remains in 6th for him. Old cars are actually out on track now, so it's going to get quite a bit busy here as the time is slowly starts ticking down. We've got under 4 minutes now to go of this qualifying session. Henry J. Brown is going to head to the 3rd and final sector now on his lap now as he exits out of turn 13, and it's going to be down into turn 14 for him. Calvin Jamal, meanwhile, he's not really finding any luck for him in the meanwhile, as he has traffic a bit there. As there's Rubinho Gonzalez, he takes away pole position away from Teasley at the minute. It's really good there from the Spaniard, 137.597. First to break into the 5s, as there's Asko Soki. He's 37.674. Pretty good there from the Slovenian driver, I must say. Let's get something to that. And there's Juan Minyen, 37.17. It's now wrapping up here into the last 3 minutes of the qualifying session here. We can see some last ditch attempts now for breaking themselves up into the top 5 and maybe even pole position. Chowchina improves once again. It's a 37.633, an identical time to Jake Tinsley. And it's going to be quite interesting to see if there's any there's multiple improvements there. Matera gets himself into 2nd, and Kalfa Jamar meanwhile gets himself up into 3rd, and it's really what the Emirati needs now in this moment in time, and he's going to do it with ease as well, because he's ahead of Tinsley, Zhukauskas and Gomez and Brown. But nothing is quite over yet for him, because there's still just about 2.5 minutes left of this qualifying session now, as the British driver Jake is going to exit out of turn 13 and head down to turn 15 now in a Portuguese time corner name. Meanwhile, he's going to use down the inside line. He's still going to get a prove it anyways, but it's not quite enough for him. He still remains in 5th for him. Can Henry J. Brown make anything of it, though, because everyone else is constantly improving? I wonder if Brown might be able to make something out of it as the Portuguese driver comes out through turn 15. Is there going to be any more improvements for him, potentially? Still 16th, unfortunately, and Gomez is in the pits, so that's not going to be very good for either of them. They're all the way down 15th and 16th at the moment as it stands. Zhukauskas, meanwhile, is going to exit out for the final few corners now. Still 10th for him. Still 10th for him. Alexander Arnold, meanwhile, really good lap there from him. Gets himself up into 6th. It's about 2 thousandths faster than Jake Tinsley's time at the minute, as Chalchinat meanwhile is going to head into the pits. That's his qualifying session over and done with at the meanwhile, as Metas Material improves and displaces Soki now for 2nd. These guys are trading fastest times between each other. I must say, Jamal's heading himself into the pits, and Tinsley meanwhile, he might probably head into the pits now. So everyone bar Brown and him are in the pits for the championship. And it's going to be quite interesting, though, as we see the British drivers going to exit out of turn 14. Any more improvements for him? He really needs it, and he needs to be in a good position. He's going to head into the pits. That's probably his championship over and done with, unless if Jumad does not finish. But currently, the way that he stands, he's in the prime position now to clinch the championship here in Interlagos, and 4th is he really does need to score points now, is what he needs to do. But for Zhukauskas, meanwhile, the Lithuanian driver, there's Henry J. Brown. He's heading into the pits as well. That's the qualifying session over and done with, and Gomez and Brown are out of the points, and that's not going to be very good for either of them. Juan Minyen is heading into the pits along with the Ryan Adam. Zhukauskas is going to go for one final round. He's going to be, I believe, the 2nd car to cross the line. Is there going to be any more improvements for him? It's not. He still remains in 11th. As there is James Morris Pearson. the second of the Lichner Middle East Racing drivers gets himself up into 6th, and both of them are into the top 10. As Mattes Material, that's his day over and done with, but he can be very proud with 2nd place. But Huan Min Yuan, an amazing 1/10 faster than the next driver, is on pole position. And that's an amazing performance there from the Vietnamese driver, I must say, as that's a really good there, and that finalizes the field for the final round of the Porsche Super Cup in Interlagos. So good there for Nguyen, as Material and Soki will round off the top 3 for that field as well. But Jamal, meanwhile, he's in the best position they can possibly be to seal the championship for himself. Next challenger behind him, though, for Tildesley in 8th, he's got quite a work to do. He needs for Jamal to not finish and for him to lead in order to win. But actually, Jamal's closest competitors in Gomez and Brown, 16th and 17th, is what he needs for him. So he just really needs to finish the points to win. And Jokubas Shukashkas, meanwhile, all the way down 12th, is very distant for him, as he's not going to score points. But we shall see. Interlagos is one of attrition, and anything can happen. But at the moment, as it stands, it all pans out in Jamal's favour. Welcome back, Imran.
Thank you. I apologize for missing the last bits of qualifying, but I had a bit of an urgent matter to attend to. Either way, I think you've gone through the grid?
Nope, I've only just wrapped up what the field is going to be like, but you can go ahead and take the top 10, and I'll take the rest.
Yeah, thank you. So, on pole position then, it is going to be Huang Minh Nguyen, and the Vietnamese driver. A very, very good job for him, as he will start on pole here at Interlagos, and accompanying him on the front row, a very good qualifying. It is going to be for Mateusz Material, starting in 2nd. Axel Socki will be 3rd in what is a very good qualifying for FAC Autotech as a whole. And Khalfan Juma, the favorite to take the title, he will be starting a brilliant P4. Rubinho Gonzalez will be 5th, with James Morris Pearson in P6, the man who made his debut here last season. Will be starting in 6th, with Alexander Arnold in 7th. Jake Tildesley is 8th, with Functional Chaushainat in 9th, and it's going to be Erki Nytt in 10th. Yuto Horigome is P11, with Jokuba Zukauskas in 12th. Nick Tander will be 13th, with Ryan Adam in P14. Ekoto Sambi will be 15th, with homeman Gabriel Gomez all the way down in 16th. It is looking dire for him at the moment, as Henry J. Brown will be 17th, with Aiden Smith rounding out the field. Oh, sorry, I just realized I took the entire grid. I'm really sorry, Jamie. But I'll make it up for you. I'll let you have the start.
You could go ahead and take the start as well, because it's ultimate race here.
As we're going to go to 6 lights, then 24 laps for one final time in 2020, and we're not underway for Interlagos. Wow, okay. Well, we'll go again, no problem. As we're gonna get down to the grid then. 6 lights here at Interlagos, 24 laps for one final time this season. We are underway here at Interlagos, and it doesn't seem to be that good of a start for Huang Minh Nguyen. Has Material got the jump on the Vietnamese driver heading into turn number 1. They're almost 3 wide in the background there, but Juma immediately tries to get up into the podium, as Nguyen's going to try and hold off Mateusz Material. Then as they head out of the Senna SS, Material is there on the inside, and he takes the lead here at Interlagos. Nguyen's going to try to retaliate on the Polish driver, but I don't think there's enough he can do. Then heading into the Ciudad del Lago, there's Tildesley trying to make up positions, as he's going to get past James Morris Pearson on the inside.
Yeah, Tildesley's going to make a move, and easy as you like it for Tildesley. He's going to get into 3rd, 4th, 5th for him. As meanwhile, Jamal's fighting all over for 6th. I can't believe Calvin is actually having a good start this season. It's almost like the championship fight has managed to enlighten something within him, as he's going to head down through the 2nd section now, and he makes it an easy move on Huang Minh Nguyen. And it's unfortunate for the Vietnamese, who gets himself on pole all the way down into 3rd.
Yeah, that's not a good start for Nguyen, but a very, very good one at that for Khalfan Juma. And the Emirati driver is immediately up into 2nd. There's Nguyen, then he's fighting Juma, trying to get back up into 2nd. I think there's a bit of smoke in the background. Someone might have put a wheel into the gravel, but either way, Nguyen is unable to get himself back up into second, as there's Adam chasing Horigome. They swap positions there in the back of those. Chauchinat and Tander fighting each other as they're gonna go side by side, then heading down the start-finish straight and down into turn number 1 as we start lap 2 out of 24, and Juma looks to have a major advantage over everyone else at the moment.
Yeah, it currently does. Kashkas, meanwhile, drops the way all the way down to 15th as well, and Gomez, meanwhile, keeps his charge at bay as he gets himself up into 14th as well. The Brazilian's doing everything that he can to keep his championship hopes alive, and it's still only got about 22 laps to go, so anything really can happen here in this championship battle here. But as you've said, Miran, it's currently looking in Juma's favour, which is quite interesting nonetheless, as the field slowly starts to relax a little bit, as Jake Tilsley meanwhile tries to look down to the inside of Askill, but to no avail. But Henry J. Brown meanwhile finally gets himself out of last place and gets himself up into 17th.
And that's not what Henry J. Brown needs at the moment. Well, maybe to get past a few people, sure, but not to be fighting for 17th. Certainly isn't what the Portuguese driver needs when he's fighting for a championship, especially considering Juma is in second. It's not looking good for him, or Gomez for that matter, who's only in 14th at the moment. So Khalfan Juma has lots of space to breathe at the moment.
He currently does, but I must say that he's still trying to make some gains on material. He really does want to have that his first ACOC win to his name, actually. He's only managed to score 4 podiums in his career so far, so I'm pretty sure a win is something that needs to be checked off his checklist at least. And what a way to do it in the final round of the season, as he's still climbing up though. As we see there with Horigome, meanwhile using the slipstream behind Alexander Arnold, and going to make a move down to turn 1 it is, as the Japanese driver is going to use down the inside line as they head through the Senna S now, with they both trade positions now as they go for the Curva de Sol, and it's still going to be a bit wheel to wheel, but maybe a bit for Horigome's favour if he can get a bit of the speed now at the exit of turn 3. And it's still going to be going wheel to wheel, actually, as they're going to head down for turn 4 now. Not quite sure which way this is going to go, as Ryan Adam, meanwhile, in the back is going to be there to pick up the pieces. And Horigome, meanwhile, he finally makes the move, and he gets himself up into 9th. Really, really good move there from there, as this Nick Tander is trying to look down for the inside of Ryan Adam now, who didn't capitalise on that move on Alexander Arnold. And now he's going to play the price now, as the Australian now makes the move, heading down into turn, heading down for the second sector. Now it's still going to be going a bit wheel to wheel now, as they head down through the long left-hander now, as Adam with the inside line will surely have the advantage now, but all that is going to go into Tander's favour now, as he's going to use the hard breaking inside line to his favour now. And no, they're still going to be going wheel to wheel now. This is exciting racing here we're seeing, and for Tander's unfortunate, Adam has managed to use his speed and momentum to get himself back up into 11th. Really, really good fighting there between Adam and Tander, I must say, and could carry on for another lap or so. As meanwhile in the background, there's Gomez. He's still trying to make some gains on Chauchinat. Meanwhile, it's pretty interesting to see that Chauchinat is meanwhile all the way down to 13th. Considering his good qualifying sessions, qualifying performances for the Marinette team at least. Head downs for turn 1. Gomez is going a bit, he's a bit eager to make that move as soon as you like, as there's Kelvin Jamar. He currently has the fastest lap now, and now he's using a bit of the slipstream now on Metish material, but he's not making any moves quite yet, but he's still 3/10 close, which is really, really interesting to see nonetheless. There's Adam, meanwhile, maybe he's quite close, really, really close to Alexander Arnold. Didn't collide. So is Brown making the move, and Ikoti Sambi, and neither of them have made any moves yet. As there's Nick Tander trying to have a look down the outside of Adam. Doesn't quite work now, and that's going to allow for Chauchinat's favour now, as they're going to go wheel to wheel now, right through the up-hander of the right-hander now, and it's going to be another right-hander for these two to navigate though, and it's going to be another wheel-to-wheel action here, as we are still at only to lap 4 out of 24, as they're going to head down through turn 9. It's going to be up the crest now before they break hard once again down to turn 10. And oh, that's Tander getting himself up in the bed of the grass and has lost the momentum now. And that's going to allow for Chauchinat to maybe make the move. And Tander knows as he's trying to have a look down through turn 11 now. And it's going to be turn 12 now. But Tander, unfortunately, that wheel on the grass, unfortunately, has cost him that position. And now it's going to be two teammates battling out for P13 now, as we see. Welcome back, Miran.
Thank you. And so we're on lap 5 of 24 now. Sambi chasing down Zukauskas. Jake Tillisley now sets the fastest lap of the race in P5. And Juma is immediately on the back of Mateusz Material. He wants that win today, and he wants to cap off this championship on a strong one. Have to say, though, what a debut season from the Emirati man so far.
Well, yeah, it has been.
Yeah.
There's a down. Meanwhile, sorry, using the slipstream though to make his move, and Alexander Arnold is still very close on him, but to no avail for the Italian, and he's going to go a little bit wide, which will allow for Chauchinat's favour. He's still making up gains now on the places as they're going to head down on the exit of turn 5, but it's not quite close enough actually. So Chauchinat still remains P12.
Yeah, it's going to have to stay behind though. He got a good run, but he just lost all the momentum there as he tries to go to the inside. As we're going to Zukauskas trying to get past his championship rival Gabriel Gomez for 14th, but nothing's happening there just yet for Jakubas. He's going to have to stay behind in P15 at the moment. Ekoto Sambi is holding off Henry J. Brown for 16th at the moment. A bit further up the field, Rubinho Gonzalez chasing down James Morris Pearson. Pearson running a very, very good P6. Will be his first point since his win at Mexico.
Certainly has as well. It's well, I must say, James Morris Pearson upon a new discipline so early into the season, and the fact that he's managed to adopt so easily is quite admirable actually for the American. And if it's anything to abide by, he could be a potential championship contender next season. Mark my words.
Yeah. It is going to be very interesting to see what he's going to be able to do, as we're now looking at Axel Socki chasing down Hwang Min Nguyen. Is it going to go, or is it going to turn even worse for Min here at Interlagos, as he might fall out of the podium, as Axel Socki is trying to pressure him. Mind you, Socki and Nguyen currently equal on points, so whoever gets themselves ahead at the moment will get P5 in the championship. As we see Pearson is going to go to the inside line of Jake Tillisley here. This is not something we really was expecting, as Tillisley tried to have a look on Socki, but the two are going to be side by side then heading out of turn number 10, and I think it's going to be Tillisley who just holds it. No, Pearson's still there on the inside, but Tillisley is on the grass there, trying to use all the available track to maybe a bit too much as they now head through turn number 11. Tillisley on the inside does defend from James Morris Pearson, and he will hold P5.
There's Gonzalez, meanwhile, going down the inside of James Morris Pearson, though he's trying to look up to pick up the pieces now. It's still very possible as they're not going to go side by side at the exit of turn 13, heading down to turn 14. Now they go, and that is probably going to be very good for Gonzalez, because look at this, Miran. He's got the speed, and he does it prematurely before even the first corner. What a great overtake there by Gonzalez. And meanwhile, that is the Erky Nit. Meanwhile, going down the inside, heading down to turn 1 they go, and James Morris Pearson has lost 2. Oh my word, Erky Nit almost makes the move on Gonzalez, heads through the center S's, and is still going to be going side by side to the Curva de Sol, and is still going to go wheel to wheel through the back straight.
If this works, and it has, look at it, it's a double overtake for Erki Nyt. That's got to be contender for overtake of the season from the Estonian, as he has done a fantastic job getting himself past not only James Morris Pearson, who's unfortunately gone down 2 positions, so it's not all smiles for the American, but yeah, he gets himself past Rubinho Gonzalez as well. Great stuff from the Estonian, as Ryan Adam is now holding off Alexander Arnold. Arnold trying to get up at the P10. He has a look on the outside. There's Chauchinat and Tander fighting it out for 12th at the moment, as Chauchinat's there on the inside then as the two are gonna go wheel to wheel then through turn number 9. Tander has the inside and should be able to hold himself ahead. Chao Shina gets the better exit out of turn 9. Now into Pico de Pato, turn number 10. Chao Shina will have the inside and he will get it done on Nick Tander. Now this brings Gabriel Gomez into the fight.
Yeah, it certainly does as well. He's kind of been behind Tander for quite a while as our attention now draws up into the front. Now, Matis Matera, I must say, he's done really, really good to lead this race so far. But Jamal, meanwhile, he's only been about 3/10 away from him for quite a while now. But he's not taking any risks now. He hasn't made any moves towards the Polish driver just yet as well. But he's probably also needs to be a bit worried that he's got Huang Minyuan behind him as well, and Sotke as well. All of them are capable of maybe removing another podium to his name potentially, but currently as it stands, not quite any battles up in the front just yet.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens, but Juma at the moment must be feeling like the luckiest man in the world to not have his championship rivals in the points, which means basically at the moment, regardless of where he does finish, he will be champion.
Yes, indeed, as there is Gabriel Gomez making the move on his teammate now, heading down for this second sector. Now they go, still going a bit wheel to wheel now. Gabriel Gomez needs to do it before it risks his strategy potentially, and no quite team orders going over there between Tander and Gomez at the minute, but Tander still just about fends off from Gomez at the minute, still P13 and 14 for them respectively.
It is looking dire for Gabriel Gomez. This is not the home race he would have wanted, especially not considering Jomas running there in second and fighting for the race lead. As we're looking at Axel Socki now, who's still on the back of Huang Min Nguyen. There's quite, I have to say, the field is quite closely packed together by Mateusz Material. That makes me wonder if Material maybe isn't lapping too fast at the moment, or if everyone is just lapping with quite close proximity to each other.
Yeah, it could very well be as well, or it could be given the nature of these the track as well, as long with the driving styles as well. Maybe being closely intact is probably the best way to do it as well. But it's not quite anything worrying for Material at the minute, because Jamar still has not made any moves on him yet, and he's still has a comfortable lead. So I don't think Jamar is fighting for a lead, to be honest. Or so Material's pretty much happy being in the lead for him at the minute, as there's Chachinat looking down for the inside of Alexander Arnold, which doesn't quite work, and Nick Tander meanwhile makes significant gains on it and still hasn't made any moves. As there's Jamal, finally makes an attempt now, but doesn't work, and he's just lost 2/10 because of it.
Yeah, it's all about picking your battles wisely, but I presume with enough patience for the young Emirati, he will be able to get past the Polish Mateusz Material, both surprisingly fighting for their first win in their careers. Juma, if he doesn't win today, he could become the first ever ACOC champion to have not won a race in that season.
Hashtag not my champion.
Maybe not your champion, but he is our champion.
Well, the funny thing is, Marin, is actually whenever to the final round in Brazil, he was the only of the championship contenders actually to have not won a race. Jake Tinsley has won a race, Shukashkas won in the previous race, and Gomez and Brown have both run about multiple races actually throughout the season. So you're all right whenever he becomes the only championship winner to not win a race.
Hey, I never said that. Yeah, well, you still have to admit that, I mean, oh no. Hello?
What's wrong? Yes, I'm still here.
I'm sorry, I thought my Discord died on me. My Discord's showing the disconnect thing, so I thought I disconnected from the live, and we've been having so many technical issues today. It's been getting a bit annoying, but yeah, luckily that wasn't the case. But yeah, either way, Khalfan Juma, love him or hate him, it's been an absolutely phenomenal season from the Emirati driver, and he proves once again in Porsche Super Cup that consistency is key, and it will in 9 out of 10 times triumph over raw pace.
Yeah, we shall see how his career will progress, because the previous Porsche Super Cup championship actually was Ollie Boaks, and as you can see how he's currently doing in Formula 2, maybe could see a similar thing to Jamal if he ever wishes to progress up to Formula 2. Maybe he might suffer. As meanwhile, there's Rubinho Gonzalez, meanwhile, riding on board with him. As welcome back.
Yeah, sorry. I apologize for the little interruptions in my commentary, but yeah. Either way, we I hopefully shouldn't hope for any more interruptions. But we're seeing Axel Socchi chasing now Hami Nui, and we were talking about how the field was quite close here in the top 5, but it seems to have split a bit now that Nguyen isn't able to catch up to Khalfan Juma.
No, it really hasn't. Mathieu and Jama are currently pulling away from Huan Ming, and it's 1.2 seconds, which is quite an eternity actually in Porsche Super Cup terms, as he's got Assetto Corsa all over the back of him, a bit to worry about, as meanwhile the back still not quite a lot of fighting, to be honest. The closest margin that we can see are 0.4 tenths between the next cars, so the field is being a bit more relaxed, but well, as in the case for Porsche Super Cup races in general, things always start to wrap up the intensity in the later stages of this race, and it should be no exception in Porsche's in this race here in Interlagos.
Yes, indeed, it's going to be very, very interesting to see, as we've now reached the halfway point of the race. Khalfan Juma says the fastest lap of the race, not only proving his pace, but proving that he is ready to go for the race lead. One of the men that's ready to make up positions is Nick Tander, as he's going to try to overtake Functional Chow Shinat then 4:12 as the two go wheel to wheel heading out of the Senna SS. And down the Reto Aposta, Nick Tander gets Functional Chow Shinat.
Great move there by Tander as well. Another overtake on the Thai driver. Both of them have been trading places all throughout the race so far, and it's probably another battle that's going to continue on as the times progress. But for Gomez and for Brown, still have not made any positions for them either. But meanwhile, Jake Taisley's trying to look down for the outside of Askel. Doesn't quite work for the British driver. He still remains in P5 at the moment.
Yes, indeed. It's a bit of a shame for Tilsley at the moment. He's doing well in the top 5, but the stars just aren't aligning for the Brit. I mean, he's been quite disadvantaged this season, especially considering he missed a round. Yeah, it's been a bit of a shame for Jake. Either way, I think he's still doing a good effort at the moment in 5th.
Yeah, it currently is, but the good thing at least he has on his plate as well is that sometimes Formula 2 experience does actually do some benefit to the driver as a whole. Well, some of them in case more than others, because Alex Arnold's currently all the way down in 11th. But meanwhile, tension still driving up into the front though. Meanwhile for Jama, as he's still 0.3 tenths away from Material, and it's ever so closely gaining on him. Is it going to be any more moves heading down turn 4? He needs to pick his battles, as he's going to try and make the move down to turn 5, but it doesn't quite work for the Emirati. He still remains in P2 with Matish Material, meanwhile, still remaining into a very, very strong P1 for him.
Yeah, he looked to run a bit wide into the Ciudad do Lago, Khalfan Juma, as he was trying to chase down Mateusz Material. And it's just when he gets into close proximity, he just slips up into a tiny mistake. And I mean, it's I guess it is what happens when you try and follow a car so closely.
Yeah, pretty much is. And Material, I must say that well, especially given the nature of this track and, well, for Jamal's racing style, whoever he does back off heading down into the second and the exit out of the third sector, which means that he cannot capitalize enough on the slipstream on the straights to make the move happen. But meanwhile, Juan Nguyen in the background, as you can see, making gains on Jamal and Material now. It's now down to under a second now between these two, so could be a problem for Jamal, as he'll have to defend from the Vietnamese driver, who's surely looking to try and take back P1.
Yeah, it is going to be a very, very exciting battle that has been brewing for these past 10 laps. But Material, even though he is holding off none other than potential champion Khalfan Juma, he is actually still keeping himself honest here, as Juma isn't he just hasn't tried anything. Well, I mean, he's been keeping a close proximity to Material, but he just hasn't been able to try a move in these past few laps. And you know, Mateusz hasn't been. I mean, wow. Okay, I need to breathe here a bit. I'm sorry, but
I understand. Maybe. Have you ever thought about maybe he has overheard a commentary and maybe he wants to become the first ACOC driver to win a championship without winning a race?
Possibly. Commentators curse. Commentators curse.
He makes a move.
Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. Khalfan Juma, you're right. I think you're right, Jamie. He maybe did hear us. But Juma tried a move there on the inside line of Mateusz Material, as he does run a bit wide. He's not got the best of runs heading out of Junstao. This is going to allow Hoàng Minh Nguyen to try and get up into second, as things didn't go
off. Goes on the inside. Oh, he blocks him off.
Yeah, Juma's trying to go as defensive as possible. He wants to hold on to that second as best as he can. Nguyen's still going to be on the outside line through the center SS, but he can't quite do it. Juma will hold on to second.
What a great, I must say that was a really good defense there from Khalfan. Really good there. I mean, I must say that block there on Nguyen is what really kept him P2 at the minute, but yeah, that was a very costly attempt there from Juma. But Hoàng Minh Nguyen, meanwhile, is still making gains on him. Meanwhile, said meanwhile way too many times. My apologies, but yeah, still 1.6 to Nguyen at least, and he's still making gains. So it's still not all over for the Vietnamese.
Yeah, he looked to be off on the pace in these previous laps, but he has actually been able to recuperate those precious tenths that he lost on Khalfan Juma, and he is actually back and trying to attack the Emirati. As we look a bit further down the field to the midfield, that's Chao China was trying to have a look on Tander. Chao China didn't guess the didn't get the best of runs trying to attack Nick Tander. I apologize, my commentary has not been good, but yeah, I've been quite tired. You know, now it's the month of Ramadan, you're fasting, and I've been trying to attempt fasting as well, and I am incredibly tired. After this race is done, I'll go enjoy myself a nice meal, but we have got a Porsche Super Cup Championship to wrap up here. Very interesting realization of your personal life, Miran, but as we can see, the Nick Tander going down the inside of Alexander Arnold. Meanwhile, what a great move for that will be on the former F1 driver. He goes wayward, Tander, and they're going wheel to wheel, heading down through the Curva del Sol, and Nick Tander, meanwhile, after going literally sideways, gets himself up into 11th. Great move there from the Australian. Very, very impressive from Nick Tander, and I have to really give it to him. Going sideways and still being able to get the move done. We've been seeing some very, very nice overtakes and battling here at Interlagos. Speaking of overtakes, Ekoto Sambi gets past Gabriel Gomez for P15, and Henry J. Brown is going to try and slip up the inside line of the Brazilian. This is not what Gomez needs at the moment, then, as they're going to go side by side heading into turn number 10 or 8, sorry. As we head into 9, it's going to be Gomez on the inside line. We should be able to cover off Henry J. Brown, but Henry is still there on his inside. Now heading into turn number 10, Gomez going a bit wide as Brown is there on the inside. Gomez retaliates, he gets the better run as he's on the outside, and he does defend from Henry J. Brown. Great battle between the two championship contenders, but it's going to be Gabriel Gomez who will be in P15.
Good move there between these two as well. They're pretty much fighting for bragging rights as well. As Mattis Material, meanwhile, just sets the fastest lap of a 36.397. And that is very, very interesting. So now he's going to be pulling away, presumably, away from the rest of the pack. Now there's Kote Sambi, meanwhile, making a move on his teammate now. Heading down for turn 1 they go. And it's going to be another similar overtake now. And it's might work in Sambi's favour. Chow China is still trying to hold him as much as he can, but there's only so much that he can do. As Kote, meanwhile, what a great overtake from him as he gets himself up into P13. What a great overtake there from them. And there's Gomez, meanwhile, picking up the pieces on the Thai driver as they're going to head down through turn 4. And I think he might do it. The Brazilian is on a bit of a roll here as he gets himself up into P14.
Yeah, Gomez, it could be on a bit of retaliation here. Obviously, this is still not the race that Gomez needs, but these positions, obviously, even though it doesn't give points, it does give honor, I do suppose. And Gomez will be wanting to try and, I suppose, rescue what honor he has left here at Interlagos. But yeah, that will be him up into P14. Gap is about 8 tenths to Ekoto Sambi, who now is in 13. As we look at the next battle up ahead, then Erkin Nytt, who has been on quite the charge this race, is chasing down Jake Tilsley for 5th.
Yeah, potential driver of the day candidate here from both of us commentators here, as I must say Erkin Nytt has provided probably the best overtake of the Porsche Super Cup season, and really something that the Estonian will be probably looking at momentum heading to next season. Though, as Henry J. Brown going down the inside of Chow Chainat, and they're going to be going up similarly wheel to wheel, just the same thing with the Kota Sambi did on Chow Chainat, meanwhile just a lap earlier, and it's still going to be going wheel to wheel now, heading for Curva de Sol, and it's going to head down through the back straight now. Both of them are still going to be going wheel to wheel, but Henry J. Brown will have the inside line, which I think will probably be go to his advantage now, as the Portuguese driver will take P15 away from the Thai driver, and he does so. Yes, great move there from Brown.
Yeah, Henry J. Brown trying to keep up with his championship rival Gabriel Gomez here. Chow Chainat, though, is not wanting to let that happen, as he's going to go to the inside of Brown, but he isn't close enough to be able to go up and alongside the man from Portugal.
Yeah, meanwhile, up at the front, you can see Material has just gained 1 second from the 5 tenths, actually, in just a matter of a lap between himself and second place. And Juan Min Nguyen, meanwhile, is actually closing up by 4 tenths now. So it means that the championship leader is indeed fading. As there's Jake Tilsley, meanwhile, he knows that Erkin Nytt is going to be on a charge himself. So he's trying to make the move on Askil Saki as quickly as he possibly can. It's the 2 race winners here, as they're going to be heading down to the first corner now. Jake Tilsley, meanwhile, he's going to do something that he's done before, which is going to go into the first corner as deep as you like, and it's going to work in the British driver's favour. It's going a bit wheel to wheel, a little bit twitchy there for the Curve de Sol. As he exits down to turn 3 they go, and it might allow for Tilsley, as he does have the inside line, which means that it will work on the overtake on Saki now, as he gets himself up into 4th. Just waiting for the confirmations for that, and it is great move there from Jake. He gets himself up to 4th.
Yeah, that was a fantastic battle between Tilsley and Saki. Jake Tilsley made that move to perfection as he gets up into P4 and gets a fast lap with it. Saki's trying to retaliate on the outside line there. Has he run a bit too wide, though? Could allow Erkin Nytt to try and line up a move on the Norwegian. No, not yet, but he is very close to the back of Saki.
Yeah, there's James Moore Pearson nearly goes a bit twitchy and goes a bit wide, which allows the capitalization for Yuto Gomez will need to get himself ever so more closer to the American now. It's coming in. It's all very bunched up here in this single file lane around the Interlagos, I must say, but It's going to be interesting to see how it progresses now, as we've only got just very few amount of laps left to go. Meanwhile, attention draws up into the front as Huang Min Nguyen. He's in a really, really good position now to take second away from the championship leader now, as Juma is fading. It's 2 seconds between himself and Material, and it depends of how close Huang Ming will be to make the move on Calvin. Heads to turn 1, they both go. No moves quite yet from either of them at the minute. Both of the Asian drivers will remain in second and third at the minute. Henry J. Brown just sets the fastest lap. That's absolutely impressive as well. 1 minute and 36 point flat, 5.5. Really, really impressive from the Portuguese driver, I must say, as everyone's currently down into single file lines now, as we've only got just about 5 laps or so to go, as the attention still draws up into the front now, as Huang Ming is still so close to Calvin, and still not quite close enough to make any moves on him now, as they're going to head down through turn 6, I believe. Still no moves for any of them so far. Still all about 3/10 from each other. There's Gonzalez going just a little bit twitchy, just trying to make the move on Nit, which may not work out in his favor in the end. But meanwhile for him, he's still quite comfortable, at least, because Pierce is still not making any marginal gains on him in the meanwhile. As meanwhile Huang Ming is still closing up on him. Still third at the minute. Yeah. Still third for him, at least.
Yeah, as Nguyen will be chasing down Juma. The time that he's lost is immense to Material. The battle that was there only a few laps ago just disappeared. That is very, very odd. But Juma has been pushing to try and build himself a bit of breathing room, but that breathing room doesn't seem to be there anymore. Nguyen is not then the Emirati breather, and he's going to want to go for second.
Yes, indeed. It's quite interesting to see how this one will turn out, because Juma has been all over the back of Matis for so many laps, and Material's defense and Juma's just driving style is just what not managed to make Juma take the lead. So it'll be interesting to see if Juma can defend as well. Not as good as he can attack, but we shall see, as the Vietnamese driver is just so close to him. It's all over the back of him, as now he's going to go a bit wide because he's just so impatient now, and that's not going to work out for Huang Ming's favor, as Tailsley meanwhile has made some great gains on him. As it's still going to be very interesting to see how this fight is going to turn. It happens once again for Huang Ming, and Tailsley still makes more gains. What used to be about 8/10 has now been closed up by 2/10 now. So it's pretty much going to be in Jake Tailsley's favor if Huang Ming once again goes for another move on Jama that doesn't work. And I think the Emirati knows this as well, which means that he's going to defend as well as he possibly can, as they're going to head down through the start-finish straight eventually. And that gap is still ever so closing even further. It's 3.5 now between Jama and Material, and still hasn't made any overtakes just yet. Henry J. Brown, meanwhile, the man that was all the way down in 16th, meanwhile, and was low as last, meanwhile, is still got unfinished business with Gomez, as he's trying to make a move. Really impatient there from Henry, as he's trying to look all over the back of Gabriel, as nearly a contact between the two championship rivals now. They've got no points now between them, so I guess they can be as risky as they'd like. But Gomez, meanwhile, still remains at P14, with Henry J. Brown still remaining in P15.
Yeah, good battle between the two then. But Gomez will hold 14th for the time being. With 2 laps to go, we'll see if that battle's going to get reignited. But I think this is going to be the one main battle that we're all going to focus on. Jamal, Nguyen and Tildesley, we're all going to be fighting for second here at Interlagos. Tildesley has been doing very, very well this race, I have to admit. He's been pulling out a very, very solid performance, and Nguyen, even though he obviously started on pole today and is down in third, he'll be wanting to make up one position here today.
Certainly will be as well. He's got the benefit of the slipstream now, as he does once again, as he has for the countless of laps that he does before. And Tilsley, meanwhile, he's not making the gains on the straight as much as Nguyen is making on Jamar. And I think it kind of knows this now, as we're heading down to the second to last lap now. It's going to be their second last chance now for these drivers to make their moves now. And look at this, very, very close now. A bit of a touch of the grass there on Nguyen to make his overtake on Jaman now, and he's really getting impatient. He's even more impatient than he's ever been laps before, and they're going to head down through the second. Straight away they go, and Nguyen meanwhile still not quite close enough to Jaman to make any overtakes happen though, as Jaman defends very well from the Vietnamese drivers. Still P2 and P3 for them respectively as they head down through the second sector.
Yeah, it's getting quite close. Nguyen is just trying to find the opportunity to get past Jumar. Just as we were talking about, you know, Jumar was trying to get material. Now it's turned into defense instead of offense for the Emirati, as Nguyen wanted to find his way past. But as you said, Jamie, if he does slip up with a mistake, that could allow Jake Tilsley to try and get himself up into the podium here.
Yeah, it really does, but unfortunately for Tilsley now, I'm afraid material's just so far off that his championship hopes is pretty much over and dead in the waters for the British driver, I'm afraid. But I must say for Tilsley as well, despite it not being in his favour, he's done an absolutely great performance as well to claw his way up into fourth, and and I'm sure that the British driver will surely be very happy about that as we head down into the final lap of the race now. And it really has been a very emotional Brazilian Grand Prix, as the home crowd will probably be in tears that their home hero in Gabriel Gomez unfortunately does not win the championship in his backyard in Interlagos. But for Matis Material, meanwhile, he's put up an absolute amazing drive to make his I believe it's his first win in Porsche Super Cup, I believe, and what a way to do that as well in the final race as well. The man that has only actually joined this series in round 4 in Portugal as well, will be very happy to get his first win in the bag at least, and the Polish driver will surely be very happy about that. But still, the tension draws out to the back though, as Nguyen is going to have one last attempt to make a move on Jamar, as he does so once again, and it doesn't work again.
Yeah, time is really running out for him at the moment. So I'm not sure if he is going to be able to do it. Yeah, I think it's going to be Nguyen who's going to have to settle for third in this final round of Porsche Super Cup at Interlagos, as still a second podium for him this season. But coming across the line then to take his first ever win in ACOC, Mateusz Material ends off the season on a high. He wins here at Interlagos for Fuck Autotech, but in his debut season of the ACOC, Khalfan Juma is your 2020 Porsche Super Cup champion without taking a single win this season. Simply an incredible display of consistency from the man who has debuted this season in Super Formula. Khalfan Juma, what a season for him. He is your 2020 Porsche Super Cup champion.
Absolutely, I must say, despite the disappearance of Formula 3, Porsche Super Cup has provided even better than the substitute that the Formula 3 has been offering in the first few races, and across all of its 8 races calendar, it's provided nothing but exciting racing. And with the Khalfan Jamal finally winning his first ACOC championship as well, and he'll be really proud with that as well. He has proven all the naysayers wrong, and all the ACOC experts think that he cannot pull it off, but he's managed to pull it off as well, and he does so in style to finish in P2. Commiserations as well to Henry J. Brown and Gabriel Gomez as well for their great performances throughout the season as well. Unfortunately for them, they cannot seem to manage to get whenever the time strikes, with bad qualifying. Unfortunately for them, didn't really get as well to score any points as well. But well, I must say that was a very exciting race.
Yes, indeed. Really, really deserved title for Khalfan Juma in his first ever season. He's gone up against guys who have been here since 2017, which is absolutely incredible to see. And he really is a star of the future. A really deserved title for Khalfan Juma once again. As we'll just speed through the results because I need to go.
You want to eat?
But yeah, I need to eat as well. Yeah, I've got some sandwiches just ahead of, just in front of me now, and they're looking very, very tasty. But Material will take the win here at Interlagos, and it will be Khalfan Juma, your newly crowned Porsche Super Cup champion, in second. Juan Nguyen will finish third on the podium with Jake Tillisley in P4. Axel Sok is going to be fifth with Erki Nut in P6, as Rubinho Gonzalez will be seventh with James Morris Pearson in eighth. Yuta Horigoma is ninth with Ryan Adam in P10.
Nick Tanner will be P11 for the Australian, followed by Axel Arnold in 12. Igoti Sambi will be P13. Gabriel Gomez, he cannot get it where he can. He'll be finishing in P14. Henry J. Brown sets the fastest lap, but unfortunately it's not enough for him to win as well. 15th. Pionat Chauchanat will be 16th, and behind him is Zukabas Shukauskas in 17th. Disappointing for him. Elaine Smith, meanwhile, will be in 18th. And that is the end of the Porsche Super Cup. And what a great season it has been. All through the calendar, I must say. Thank you very much for tuning into this race as well. We will be back in for, I believe it is tomorrow, where we have the Formula 2 Interlagos race here once again with Eric, with that championship already decided, but lots of positions to be decided. And more importantly, meanwhile, on Sunday, it'll be the grand finale and the conclusion to the 2020 ACOC season for Formula 1, where it is still between Dennis Graf, Johansson and Parachki in what was surely to be an exciting race. And I must say, with the Porsche Super Cup here that has the Porsche Super Cup race that has been here in Interlagos, it is going to set the precedent of exciting racing for the next two races.
Yes, indeed. It'll be very, very interesting to see what is going to happen. But before we go, let's just quickly our drive today. Mine is going to go to Jake Tillisley. I think even though it wasn't the championship for him, I think he still drew a very, very good race. There in P4, made some solid ground today, and got a very, very good result. Even if it isn't the championship, I think he should still be pretty good on that drive, but it is still going to be a bittersweet feeling for him.
Yeah, I agree. I think Tilsley has got something that's shown his amazing overtakes and his charges out throughout the season. That has really been incredibly impressive for him. And I think Eric Net, meanwhile, he's shown his glimpses as much as Jake Tilsley has done, and I think both of them are going to provide very strong performances in for next season, especially since they got a year under their belts.
So, season's worth of Porsche Super Cup action is done then. As Jamie said, we'll see you for Formula 2 Prix tomorrow. Then we'll see you for the main event, the Formula 1 title decider at Interlagos as well. But yeah, until then, I have been Miram.
And I've been Jamie.
Thank you for watching. We will see you tomorrow for Formula 2.